how is trauma impacting our manifestation process? This is the real deal here. Based on the trauma we've experienced, we form unconscious conclusions that become trapped in our bodies until released. This conclusion or these conclusions serve one reason: to protect us from the same danger that we've experienced in the past, or the same pain we've experienced in the past. The body, which is the place where trauma gets stored in, carries a multitude of conclusions based on the things that were unsafe in the past, and it creates kind of like a database with the things that it should protect us from. The interesting thing is that the conclusion can protect us from the very thing we desire, which is going to make us experience that conflict. I want it, I don't want it. I want it, it's scary. It's that push and pull energy that we also call self-sabotage. And this is a fascinating way in which our built-in survival mechanism actually just protects us from what it perceives as unsafe, even if that thing is the thing that we deeply, deeply desire, like money, love, support, a stable relationship, having a house, having a dog, and so on. So it's like this. You've experienced all of these things in the past. They got stored in a database. As conclusions, I should run away from love. Love is unsafe. Men are unsafe. Money is unsafe. And then we have the desire that is inviting us to go for that thing. But what we don't know is that we have a whole database that carries these conclusions. And what our body does is to prioritize survival. The body is always going to prioritize survival, not our desires. So I want you to know this because it's really, really revolutionary, very simple, but very, very revolutionary. You're going to see even deeper. I'm going to use an example to help you understand the concept. So let's take an example. We have Marisa, and Marisa's past was looking like this, right? Her parents did not have time to fully meet her emotional needs, so she learned that no one is there for her. Her parents struggled financially, and there were always arguments around money. Her first boyfriend was unfaithful. These are all the things that happened to her, right? All of her past. Her mom pressures her to get good grades so she doesn't struggle financially. She was bullied at school, so she learned that humans are unsafe. Because her mom had high anxiety, she learned that her mom's emotions were more urgent than her own needs. So this is Marisa's past. This is going to be, like the example is going to carry your own past, your own things that you've experienced. Now, what happened is that Marisa formed this database of somatic conclusions, and these somatic conclusions are going to be sounding in different ways. Humans are unsafe. Men cannot be trusted. Based on what she experienced, she anchored in these conclusions on an unconscious way. Men cannot be trusted. No one is there for me. Money is never enough. She's also an overachiever right now. So she learned that because her mom pressured her into like getting good grades, she learned that she's only safe if she keeps on going, because her mom probably projected her own fears onto her. She also learned that in order to feel safe, she needs to make sure that everyone feels comfortable first, because she had to take care of her mom's emotions. How mind-blowing is this? That all of the things that we've been through formed these conclusions, and these conclusions are now directing our whole life. I always say that an unhealed conclusion can destroy your whole life, and I don't say this to scare anyone. I have so many examples of people who don't know of their conclusions and who actually took action based on their conclusions without even asking what was their own authentic truth. This is what happens when we are not aware of the conclusions that we carry. So what's happening here? When she gets older, Marisa learns how to be a functional adult, obviously, as we all do. It all seems good, from the outside. It seems like we have the job. She even forgot or repressed her past wounds. She's like, yeah, I don't have any trauma. I don't remember. A lot of people are like, I had a pretty happy childhood. I don't have trauma. She is also successful at her job, being an overachiever. Things look good. However, she struggles financially and she wants to call in more money. But each time she wants to ask for more, for a raise to her boss, she feels that high anxiety and a lump in her throat. So she's like, maybe I shouldn't do it. I'm like, no, there's no point. And that's how we talk ourselves out of our desires, because our protection is going to win. As I said, our body is going to do everything to make sure that we are not actually going to take action based on survival. Here, what we are noticing is that the lump in Melissa's throat is actually that conclusion being stored there, because we store these conclusions, as I said, in our bodies, and is now reactivated as her protective system brings up her database with the things that were unsafe in the past, in her case, speaking up and money. So how fascinating is this, that our bodies are speaking to us, and we just use emotional reasoning, that's how we call it, which is the process in which we use these sensations as an indication that what we are about to do is wrong. And so how fascinating it is that actually our bodies are just saying, this was unsafe in the past, this is where you carry that wound, this is where you're going to have to look at first. So the lump in her throat, we are often going to notice this when we have trauma around speaking up, when we have trauma around being heard and so on. So this is what happens today. So in this case, Marisa talks herself out because her survival system wins. This is the part that is meant to protect us, as I said, and is always going to prioritize protection over personal truth. So this part doesn't care that your intention is to have more money, doesn't care that your truth says, I want to speak up more. This part is going like the lump in your throat, the sensations in your body are the conclusions that are going to be activated. It's like, what? This is not safe. What are you doing? And it's going to throw us like all the ways in which it's going to like, no, back off. All the ways. Different ways. We're going to talk ourselves out of it. We're going to be like, I actually don't want that. You're going to see. So, however, when the danger is gone, so she's like talking herself out of it, the protective system takes a step back. Because no threat is found, she already decided she's not going to talk to her boss. What's happening is that Marisa reconnects with her internal truth again and with her desire, which leads her to ask for that raise again. This is what always happens, because we have the survival system and we have the personal truth. When the threat is gone, so when she's already deciding that she's not going to talk to the boss, the protective system is like, okay, we are safe now. It's taking a step back. It's like, okay, we're not going to be online. It's just like dormant. And some people have these protective ways dormant for decades just because they don't challenge them, right? They don't have to be online all the time. This happened to me when I was single. I didn't have the relational trauma. I didn't have that part of me. And when the relationship started, obviously that part became online. And so we then... those parts, subside, we then connect with our truth again, and then we are like, but I still want that raise. Like, no, I'm going to do it. So this is where that push and pull cycle begins. Since the moment she connects again with her desire and wants to act on it, her protective system is going to come back online again, and is going to make protecting her the only priority. Remember this always, because it's going to remove so much shame. And like, why is it that you cannot connect with your truth sometimes first, and that you need to do the healing? So Melissa has two options. One, give up on her desire and talk herself out of it, or do the healing needed to heal and change the conclusion stored in her body. We are going to do the second one here, obviously. So, healing and changing the conclusion is the work we do in my world that allows us to dissolve that inner conflict, and here's how we do it. The process is simple, streamlined, clean. As I love it, you're going to love it as well.